morning, everybody. I'm Steve Goring with FPS. I'm here to go over a quick overview or quick start guide for FPS. First thing you're going to want to do is to double click the FPS icon to launch it. And the first thing FPS will ask you is to log in as a user. If you're an existing FPS 3 user, it will open up your latest database that you had open. If you're brand new to FPS, it will open up this FPS 6 sample database. And you have to sign in as one of these planners initially. To sign in as a planner, either double click one of these lines or select the line, then click OK. If you want it to remember that last selection, you just click this box and it will automatically log you in as that person the next time you open that particular database. And right now, me and Ed are set up as users. I'm going to log in as Ed by double clicking him, and it will load the data. And the first thing we notice over here on the right, this alert box, that there's a newer version of FPS available online. You can click this link and download it anytime you see that, or you can click this button and see what version you're running and download there. Click this back button, go back to the main screen. As far as databases, just remember you can have as many FPS databases as you want. Just remember each database has its own set of rules and users that you define. And currently we opened up this sample database. If you look here at this top line, it says the version FPS and the user that you logged in as is Ed, and this is the database that you logged into. On this same line over to the left, it shows a list of the users, or I'm sorry, clients in this database, and the selected one currently is Abba James. You can see it here. Anytime you select or click on a name in this list, or in the list section, it makes that the selected contact. The whole program revolves around this selected contact. So in other words, whoever you've selected, and it's up in this list or here, that is the person you're currently working on. So if you switch to a different section, for input example, that is the person that you will be doing input on, depending on which section of input. Let's go back to contacts and let's put it back on Abba. Real quickly, you can search using this box, or you can search on this one using the same method. And we're back to James Abba. This program follows a Microsoft Outlook type layout where we have this navigation bar over here to the left. It's broken into 6 areas: contacts, input, reports, calendar, notes, and tasks. Contacts is where you go to select contacts if you want, or add new contacts, or view your contacts. There's other ways to do that. I'll show you them also, how to add and edit. But the list is simple. It's a simple way to look at your contacts. We can clear this search and refill it with all of them. Cards is a different way to look at your contacts. They're like business cards, and you scroll through them. Summary is an individual view of the particular selected contact. It shows you a lot of information about that contact. During this presentation, my my screen's reduced, so a lot of this information kind of looks scrunched, but I'm sure you'll be able to have a bigger view on your monitor. Excuse that phone interruption. Back to this navigation. So the contact section is basically where you look at your contacts in groups, individually, or in pivot grids or dashboards. The next section is the input section. Remember, we're on the selected contact of James Abba. So now we can do this tree over here on the left. Selects which input screen we want to add data for that contact. We want to add information to his financial statement. We do it here. Notice there's a lot of duplicated data. Just ignore that. I just did that to beef up some of the numbers in his financial statement. So it's not an error on that particular contact. So that's where you put the data entry for the particular contact. When you're ready to do a report on that contact, you just click the reports. And the thing to remember about reports and input, remember on input we were on budget. where we're doing like a budget for this particular contact? Well, when we click reports, we're already selected on budgets too. This tree navigation view here pretty much is shared between the input and reports, so you can immediately do reporting and inputting at the same time. So let's just look at a quick report by clicking this preview button, and we can see the report shows up over here. One thing that is really handy is if you don't like a value, you can go switch quickly over to the input, change a value. Let's change this to 12,000, and then immediately click reports, and we would see our new value reflected there. Automatically recalculated because auto refresh is checked here. And if we go down into the report where we changed it to 12,000, it was that first bonus, and we can see actual monthly it's 12,000 now. We can always go back there and change it again, 12,001, just so you get the idea of how this works. Click reports, auto refresh is on, so it should have recalculated that for us, and we see the new value is 12,001. You don't have to keep auto refresh checked. I do most of the time, and you can use a manual refresh here. When you're done looking at the preview, just click close here or here. We're still on the report section, and that's just clicking one report for preview. Let's say you wanted to build a large report list. Like we can put that same report we just saw, we can put that over here in this list just by clicking that. Then we can pick a different section of reports and add that one over here, and pick a couple other reports, and now we have this list of reports over here. We can export that to PDF. We can save this list for future use. We can clear the list. This will clear it. We can preview all 4 of these reports at one time. Click preview. And all 4 of the reports are now in this list. Over here, some of them are multiple pages. And let's close this preview. You could also create a table of contents. You click this button and then click preview. And we scroll to the last page of the report. We now have a table of contents of all the reports. You can move that to the front of your report packet when you're done. And each one of these reports has a page number at the bottom that corresponds with the table of contents numbers. Let's close that. When you're ready to save this, you would click save and give it a unique name, and those saved packets are down here on the left where it says packets. You'll click it, and these are all the packets. Let's save this one. Save, and we'll just call it AAA. Okay, and you'll see it's added to the list. And see it here, it's 4 reports, starting budget, assets. We can switch to another just by double clicking it. Clear that and go back to AAA. And since this is a quick overview, you can also print all your Fact Finder documents from this screen. You can print all your database categories, budget categories. You can see what they all are. And reports also have a bunch of selections at the top here. That's where you pick actual or alternative 1 or 2 or 3 for each of the main sections of the financial planning. And I'll quickly go over what is an alternative and what is actual. If we click the input section and we're on death needs, you'll see right now there's an actual column, an alternative column here, alternative 2 and alternative 3. And the values vary. This one says 450,000. This one says 110,000. That's why it's a little bit different, shaded different, because it's not the actual value. These ones match. That's why they have the same background. So now if I wanted to do a report on death needs, all I have to do is click reports. I'm already locked on death needs. And if I wanted to use the actual values, I'd click the death and then alternative 1 and do a report. And it will be based on alternative one data. Right up here you'll see death data. Keep in mind a lot of these reports use the financial statement, so sometimes you can have the financial statement on actual while the death information is on alt 1, or vice versa. You could have financial statement on alternative 1 and using actual for death, or having both on alt 1. It's your choice, whatever you're trying to do. There's other options up at the top here. If you're preparing a presentation for a client who's coming into your office, you can click this particular button and your previews will go into a different window other than this main screen. So if I click preview, I have that on full screen, it would go into another window, and you can actually minimize that, and you can store all these different screens so that they're available when your client comes in. You're not fumbling around. You'll have 7 or 8 major previews already ready for that particular client. And you can turn that off and it will preview back into this section of the main screen. And that covers your contact input reports. Calendar is just a place to put appointments. It's just like any other calendar program. Notes is another notes section. It's a rich text format. That's where you can add or enter notes on each particular client. Tasks, same thing. These are task based for each individual client. Let's go back to contacts, and if you want to add a new contact, you just click the new button and the new contact window comes in. And you can move this and resize it, and we'll remember most of these windows as you're using the program. So feel free to resize them and move them, and the program will remember where you were. This new contact section, there's no minimums, but I would recommend at least a first name and last name, and it will prepare account name. You can override that and make it something different, and you click save and close. To add a picture, go down here where it says no image data, right click, and you can load from disk, or if you have one in your Windows clipboard, you can paste it in there. These are stored in the database, so once it's in this and you click save and close, it's in the database. You can get rid of the file. Some of the other buttons here, if you want to remove an individual client, you click that button. You will be asked to verify that. You can also right click and it replicates this upper menu here. So if you click remove, it will ask you OK or cancel. I'll cancel that. You can edit that contact or double click them. It does the same thing. Other items, if you want to add a new contact, new appointment, new note, new task, you can do it on this little mini menu. Next section are some quick filters. You can filter by client, prospects, or others, or show all. You can search very quickly. Let's say we want to look for IBM, and it quickly finds everyone that has IBM in one of their fields. You can turn that off. You can filter by contact. You say, I just want to see all Steve Goring's contacts. That's them. If you want to see all of them, it's there. The use query button is a way to query the database and get a subset of that. I'll go over that in another video. It's not too difficult. You can probably do it on your own. Expand all, collapse all. That is if you have a your grid grouped, you can expand all, collapse all. Let's expand all. Bands are where every other row is got a color background. You can turn that on or off. Refresh just refetches the data. Select all rows, selects them all. Let's turn this grouping back off. So let's go over the actions. This is where whatever you have selected, either be it one or multiple people, it will try to do that action. Some of the actions are only for individual. But let's use the query section, and let's go to contact birthday next month. This is just quickly how to run a query. You run, you'll see 2 people. Now if I did a report right now, query results, it only has 1 person because I didn't highlight the other ones. So that's why you select all rows, and then the report will include both of them. Simple enough. That's all I'm trying to show you. All these actions, it depends on how many rows are selected as far as how many people are going to be in those particular reports. When you want to clear this query, just clear the query button and all your contacts will show back up again. Some of the available actions are this list, or just various lists of information about all the people. You want to have an address list, a phone book, etc. Call only works on the individual person. That's where you let the computer try to call the person. This got restored, so let's click Ava. He should have some phone numbers. And you would just click the section you want to call and the computer will dial it. Email. That works for multiple people. If you have multiple people selected and you click email preferred, it will generate a blind carbon copy for each person in that list. Mail merge. If you have multiple people like we have right here, you can do a mail merge preview. And let's just do a thank you note to all these people, and you'll see that it did the thank you note to all the people involved. There's 7 pages. If we go to the next one, blah blah blah. Get the idea. Labels work the same way. You pick which label and what name you want, and it will be for these 7 people. Envelopes, same way. Export, same thing. It'll just export these 7 people. There's other export features available under this section. If you click more, and you can do Microsoft Outlook, Laser App, importing and exporting. Okay, that was a very quick overview on how to get started so you can start experimenting with the program, learning how it works. There is another section that we'll be covering later on how to create a new database. It's fairly easy. You just come over here to the little book with the down arrow and click New. Recent shows all the recent data connections you made. About shows your versioning. You can download the latest version there. View list of changes. Your import export, that same screen we just saw over there. You can also make a backup of your current database just by clicking that button, or open up other databases. And that about wraps it up. And we'll cover options in another video also. That's where we cover the program options. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you later. Oh, and I'll show you how to exit. You can exit the program by clicking the red X at the top right here, or you can click this and click exit. That's it for now. See you guys later.